Toyota Motor Philippines just launched its newest crossover. It's not this one, it's definitely not that one, it's this. It's the all-new Yaris Cross. Now, some of you might be wondering, where is this gonna fit in the car maker's local lineup? Well, that's what we're here to find out. And that's what I have a notebook for, because we're gonna compare this with its closest siblings, the Raize and the Corolla Cross. We're gonna see just how big or how small Toyota's newest offering is. So let's find out. Let's save the best, or the newest rather, for last, and let's start with the most basic of the three. It's the Toyota Raize. So according to my notes here, this is also the smallest one, by the way, and it measures 4,030 millimeters long, 1,710 millimeters wide, and 1,605 millimeters tall. Coincidentally though, despite being the smallest of the three, it has the highest listed ground clearance at 200 millimeters. This one comes with the choice of a 1-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder gasoline engine or a 1.2-liter naturally aspirated 3-cylinder engine. Both powertrains come with a CVT. Raize prices range from 751,000 pesos for the base variant to 1,051,000 pesos for the top spec turbo. Up next is the biggest and the most expensive of the three, the Toyota Corolla Cross. Now this one measures 4,460 millimeters long, 1,825 millimeters wide, and 1,620 millimeters tall. So like I said earlier, the Raize, despite being the smallest, has the highest listed ground clearance because this one only has 161 millimeters of ground clearance. This one comes with either a 1.8-liter gasoline engine or a hybrid setup that consists of that same engine made into an electric motor and a battery. The highest GRS trim, which comes with all the nice bits and pieces on the outside and the inside, but with the same hybrid powertrain, is priced at 1,844,000 pesos. Now on to the highlight of the show. Okay, so here we have the Toyota Yaris Cross. This one is slightly bigger than the Raize, but also slightly smaller than the Corolla Cross. So it sits right in between the two in the lineup. It measures 4,310 millimeters long, 1,770 millimeters wide, and 1,615 millimeters tall. Now, like I said earlier, the Raize has the highest listed ground clearance. That's because this one doesn't have a ground clearance yet. Maybe we'll know by the launch, or maybe not. Engine options for this one are similar to that of the Corolla Cross. You have a gas-only variant and a hybrid variant. This one comes with either a 1.5-liter gasoline engine or a hybrid system that consists of that same engine mated to a battery and an electric motor. Price range for this one is 1,199,000 pesos to 1,598,000 pesos. So like I said, right in the middle of the two. Of course, we know it's not all about the numbers. Just because the Corolla Cross is the biggest doesn't mean it has the most interior space. So we're gonna go ahead and sit in all three just to find out which one has the most spacious cabin. So I'm here behind the wheel of the Raize, and it's typical of a subcompact crossover. You got ample space here. This is my seat position, and elbow room is fine. Two large people at the back. You'll be hitting your elbows while you drive. And yeah, that's about what you'd expect from a Raize. So now the thing here is we need to check the space at the back. So this is set to my driving position. And how much legroom and headroom do we have here? I have this much legroom and even smaller headroom. And yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's still really a subcompact crossover. 2 of me will fit in there, 3 of me will be questionable. So before we head on to the Corolla Cross, we have here a large piece of luggage, and we're gonna see how it'll fit in the back. So we have some stuff here. We weren't able to clean it up, but yeah, it gives us an idea of just how big this trunk is. So you have one piece of luggage and then some, and that's all about you can fit there. I'm not even gonna close it anymore, because we're gonna put this in the back of the Corolla Cross as well. All right, so moving on here, you have power seats, which is a nice bonus. Also set to my driving position. All right, it feels a bit roomier. It really does. It feels like you have room for your knees, you have more room for your elbows. Headroom is so much better than the one in that. And overall, just a slightly bigger cabin. Now for the real test, let's see how rear passengers will fare. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This much legroom, a bit smaller than that of the Raize, but so much bigger headroom. So overall, it still feels a lot roomier, and 3 people here, 3 average sized people might be able to fit here, but there's just a big bulge in the middle of the second row seat, so it might be a bit uncomfortable for the 5th passenger. But again, that's also what you'd expect. Now on to the trunk. Now for this one, yeah, no power lift gate, sorry about that. It has a much bigger trunk here at the back. So much more cargo space. You could probably fit 3 of these here, no problem. Now on to the Yaris Cross. Okay, for the Yaris Cross, interestingly enough, it feels like the same as the Corolla Cross. You also have ample leg room. My knees aren't a tight fit here. Headroom is similar as well. Elbow room though, it does feel a bit more cramped, maybe because there's just so much more stuff going on here. You have this thing in the center console, so it feels a bit of a tighter space here. Now, again, for the real test, let's check out the rear seats. Oh, I don't have much expectations for this one, but oh, that's actually pretty good. Legroom is slightly similar. Headroom, you have also the same. You have the same space to work around with here. But one thing I note just off the bat is that the floor here, at least in the middle, seems a bit lower, and there's no big bulge in the middle. So the 5th passenger won't be as uncomfortable as when you're sitting inside the Corolla Cross. Now let's check out the trunk. Okay, we do have some stuff here. Oh, power lift gate. You only have that one in the Corolla Cross GRS. This one is the gasoline Yaris Cross, the V variant, so it's not exclusive to the top spec Yaris Cross. That's one thing to note. But overall, space is still generally the same. Okay, so clearly it has a slightly smaller trunk than the Corolla Cross, but the thing here is that it comes with a tonneau cover. That one does not. The Raize comes with that foldable thing that I'm not really a fan of. It's hard to stow. So if you're looking for more cargo space, it's not the Yaris Cross. You've got to go with the Corolla Cross for that. But if it's just passenger comfort, passenger space you're concerned with, you'll be fine with either the Corolla Cross or the Yaris Cross. Smaller people will be fine with the Raize, but like we said, the numbers didn't matter, but at least in this case, it gave us the proper rankings as to which has the bigger cabin. So what's interesting here is the differences in terms of length from the Raize to the Yaris Cross to the Corolla Cross, maybe 100 millimeters each, but that didn't really come at the expense of so much cabin space. Legroom is still pretty decent here. It may not be as good as the Yaris or the Corolla Crosses, but it's still okay. Still typical of a subcompact SUV, like I said, but it did come at the expense of so much cargo space. So if you're, say, a family of 4 or 5 that usually brings a lot of cargo around, that might be a big consideration. But if it's just passenger comfort you're concerned with, well, you'll be fine with any of these 3, I suppose. But of course, if we're talking about the engines and the price tags, that's for an entirely different discussion, because these 3 are totally different crossovers, though they might not seem like it. I guess we'll be able to dive a bit deeper into that one once we're finally able to take out the Yaris Cross for a proper review. So watch out for that one.